and strength.
And welcome to Tallahassee Tally Benchwarmers. Your unofficial, definitely not expert take on the latest in local collegiate sports. This week we're backbenching on FAMU and FSU football and FSU's dominating women's soccer team.
I think what makes a great coach is there's so many elements to it on the field and off the field. First of all, you need to understand your players. You need to understand them as people, because then that helps you coach them as players.
This is our first attempt at a sports podcast, and for the next 30 minutes, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, the WFSU team is going to concentrate on FSU and FAMU athletics. For the next couple of months, it will be mostly football, but later basketball, soccer, softball, baseball, and volleyball will become the talk of the town. And today, who knows, somebody in this studio might walk away from here just a little bit richer. Well, now it's time for me to introduce those of us at the end of the bench. I'm David Mullins. I'm the head bench warmer and just a guy who pretends to know a lot about sports. WFSU's sports reporter Adrian Andrews is here, and he's the only journalist of this group. So, Adrian, please do your best to keep us out of trouble.
I'll do my best.
And we have, to my right, if you're watching on YouTube, a sometime distance runner, former high school swim team member, and WFSU CFO, Jennifer Tappen. Hi, Jennifer.
Hello.
You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay. And last but certainly not least, our resident sports guru, WFSU's Assistant Chief Engineer, Eric Carter. Eric, you've got the voice for radio and for podcast, I'm told. Good to see you.
Well, I'm ready to do this.
All right. We are ready. Almost for a kickoff, right? It's time now for our terrible takes on the world of Tallahassee sports, and for legal reasons, please do not take any of this to Vegas. So first, before we get into football, we're going to get into FSU women's soccer in this conversation today, and want to highlight something that their head coach, Brian Pensky, told WFSU about a year ago. In this conversation, he was talking about what makes a great coach.
I think what makes a great coach is there's so many elements to it on the field and off the field. First of all, you need to understand your players. You need to understand them as people, because then that helps you coach them as players. And then obviously knowing the game that each of us coach and understanding the game. And all sports evolve, and so we must evolve, and being able to give our players consistent, steady information that they believe, most importantly, that they believe will continue to make them better, because we want to be credible individuals when we give our players information.
You know, that advice can go a long way. And, you know, with that said, going to pivot to FSU football. Was Saturday night really an improvement, or did California just fail to win the game? What do you think?
I think those two can be true, right?
Right. Maybe so. Yeah.
In my opinion, David, we survived.
We survived. Yeah.
We survived.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
There was, our offensive play calling needs some improvement. That's one of the areas that we need to work on. Also, game awareness of whether to take the points, punt, or keep it live.
Yes.
You know, that has to improve. My heart can't take too many more of these.
No, that's right. I was on the field, and it was at the other end of the field when the Cal was marching on that last drive, and we were just looking at each other saying, no, this can't happen again, right? I mean, just kind of like Georgia Tech did, they marched down the field. Although Cal needed to score a touchdown.
Yes. Yeah.
And while the defense bent during that last drive, they did not break. That four-play series really set the tone, hopefully, for going forward.
Yeah, we'll see about that. I mean, I think the defense really stepped up this game. I mean, I think they did an incredible job, right?
For sure.
I mean, it was low scoring.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not sure about if that's more of against the offense. Maybe we just need to focus on the offense. Maybe the defense can win us some more games like that if we, continuously to hold the other team to 9 points. But I think our defense did remarkable.
It was against the you know, a passing game that I'm not sure how Cal had been doing, but man, they were throwing the ball almost at will, right?
Yeah. Our defense definitely stepped up. They had not much of a running game at all.
Yeah.
And then that fourth quarter, 4 sacks in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And loyal FSU fan my whole life, Marvin Jones Jr. Gotta love him. It's so exciting to see him out there making plays.
Those legacy players actually are really good for us. Anytime you can keep a team out of the end zone like we did, keep relegating them to field goals. Thankfully, their kicker wasn't as accurate as he could have been.
Thankfully. It could have been a different story. You know, and Adrian mentioned offense. I mean, Alex Atkins came back after that 3-game suspension. I mean, the stuff happened like 2 years ago, right? But he was suspended for the first 3 games. Couldn't be on the sideline. Is that what it was? Or he just couldn't be involved in the game at all?
Well, he was. He couldn't be on the sidelines at all. So I think he was there in practices and stuff. But this is the first time we actually got to see him, there and calling plays. And I want to say it helped. I mean, it seemed a bit smoother at times. I think Tua Philly was we depended on him a lot, and thank God for him.
But DJ made the throws. I guess we always say when he had to. That throw to Douglas there.
That was pretty.
That was a pretty pass. That was pretty. But Eric and I have talked about this. The line gave him time to make that throw.
Our offensive line definitely stepped up this game. They played way better than they have all season.
Yeah,
they actually run blocked a lot better this time.
And they gave him some time. He's not DJU is not a scrambler. He's very stiff in the pocket. He's very stiff. Period.
But he seemed to run with the ball better this game. I thought he carried himself better.
He seemed to have calmed down and shout out to Jordan Travis being on the sidelines. I'm wondering if that had
maybe he spoke to him.
The crowd went crazy when they put him up on the big screen. The crowd went crazy.
I don't know how much. I don't know how much of an influence he had, but I feel like because he went through similar what DJU's going through. Granted, we had 2 extra years beyond that with him to develop him, but it was nice to see him there, and hopefully that had a positive impact on our offense and DJU.
Probably just overall. I don't know if he was over there kind of trying to pump him up, but just again that presence certainly helped a lot.
DJ's confidence seemed a lot better. He had more control of the offense out there.
And I noticed too, our offensive players in between each play, no matter what happens, they were walking up to him. They were hitting him on the shoulder, high fiving him.
That's good.
So there seemed to be more unity on the offense this week too, rather than before where it was just like everybody was just getting mad at everybody for everything.
All the sports experts have just been saying the team's got talent, they just haven't been able to mesh, right? So maybe
that's starting.
And maybe they need a big cutout of Jordan to put on the sideline for every game going forward. It might help.
It might help.
I also think that we need to work on some of those drops.
Yes.
Man,
keeping that run game going, keeping it nice and fluid. Keeping DJ off the turf would be nice.
Work on some of those penalties also, because they came at some points that was like, why?
But drop passes are drive killers. Really. Oh man.
Especially on 4th down.
Yes.
Listen, when we went for it on 4th down instead of kicking a field goal at the end of the first half, I got scolded by my stepson for being too loud because he was supposed to be in bed. I was so frustrated.
Were you at least clean with your language or not?
Probably not.
Probably not.
I was at home. Probably not.
Eric and I texted about not wondering why didn't he kick the field goal.
That's that game awareness.
It's just, it's one thing to be confident in your offense and go for it because you're consistent and you have that ability, but we have not been consistent enough to do something like that. If we have a chance to score 3 points, score the points, let's get the W, and we can do the other things later.
Well, you got to think of it like this. When watching the game, our kicker, he's been consistent. He hasn't missed one yet.
Yeah.
He's at 59.
Yeah, and this would have been a long one, right?
Yeah.
But still,
He has the leg to kick a 70.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a 70 yet, but he has the leg to do that.
Yeah.
He was also named one of our 2 impact players before that game started, which I thought was kind of sad.
Best player on the team going into the game. But so maybe Alex Atkins, maybe that influence can help make better determinations of what to do in the game.
But when you got your coordinators out there, it actually helps with that end game, switching, because you just because you plan for something doesn't mean it's always going to go that way. So you got to have that backup plan when you get punched in the mouth.
Yeah. Okay, so FSU won.
Right.
Finally.
I got that W.
FAMU traveled to Troy. It was a winnable game, right?
It was a winnable game. Yeah, that's what I noticed. It was just self-inflicted wounds. I mean, FAMU kept it close. I mean, for the first half. I mean, let's not let the final score, really define the entire game. It really was a close game where it was winnable.
Yes.
They just need to get into the end zone,
yeah,
right?
they just couldn't get into the end zone. They settled for field goals for the entirety of the game. So, but penalties,
Their offense got conservative also.
I noticed that. It was less throwing downfield. They're not taking deep shots, and that was getting them down there in the first place. So
they struggled running a little bit too.
Yeah.
Troy schemed them very well.
Yeah.
So that was good. Their defense needs to not let those over-the-top plays or those quick screens turn into touchdowns.
Yeah. And that's one thing that Cozy has talked about, just trying to establish some sort of consistency.
Right.
But, I think it was a bit conservative at times, the play calling. I would have took some more deep shots,
They allowed them to stack the box. When you allow them to stack the box, it's kind of hard to run.
Mm-hmm.
And that was their problem. They couldn't establish a good running game.
Yeah, I was frustrated the entire game. I was so frustrated.
But at least it wasn't. Eric mentioned it wasn't a conference game, right? So that will help at least if it. So their 2 losses have both been non-conference.
FBS opponents
against FBS opponents.
So I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah.
And unlike the Miami game, this game here was more what FAMU didn't do than what Troy did.
Yeah. Well said.
Well said, yeah. So it almost sounds like Cal just a little bit, what Cal didn't do rather than what FSU. A little bit. I'm sorry. This is not a bash FSU game, but I'm just hoping that this helps them turn that corner. And FAMU now they start conference play.
Yeah,
right?
that's correct. Conference play. Yeah,
so that'll be good.
Yeah.
New athletic director, Angela Suggs, right? 3-year contract. I don't know enough about her. I know she used to work in FAMU athletics. So,
correct.
Is there expectation of changes, Adrian? Have you heard anything? Any kind of changes overall with the way to approach athletics?
Right. And I think the biggest thing now is just still establishing that recruitment. Building on athletics as far as what bringing in money. I mean, those would be the biggest 2 things for her to focus on now. All the sports are doing pretty well. Yeah. So, I mean, she's coming in at a good time.
Yes. Yeah.
So, it's just a matter of, hey, just let's recruit, let's bring in money, let's figure out what we can do to, to keep our athletics and keep it going. So,
money makes the world go around.
That is true.
And certainly more and more in college athletics.
I think she'll do well because she has she's an alumni.
Yeah.
So she kind of understands
she has experience.
Right. She understands the boosters, so she can get out there and not just help with the recruiting, but recruiting more boosters because butts and seats makes a lot of difference.
Yeah. Well, and hopefully they won't try to rebuild the stadium and
at the same time.
And,
we have.
Yeah.
We have something to learn from, I guess. We look over the tracks.
There you go. Yeah, maybe know what not to do and what to do.
Yeah. I definitely can see FAMU sort of looking out the window, the back window, seeing what Florida State got going on over there.
Absolutely. Well, the good thing is FAMU, they're the defending national champs.
Yep.
So it's hard to repeat.
Yeah.
So they're learning that, hey, everybody's going to give you your best shot. Mm-hmm. So you got to be ready for it. Like I said, that Miami game, it was a good learning experience for FAMU. They understood that they were able to move the ball up and down the field. But that talent level difference, it makes a difference. With Troy, even though they're an FBS school, FAMU should have won that game.
Yeah.
They should have won that game. They played well enough to win that game.
Yeah, and as hard as it is to say, let's admit the Hurricanes are looking pretty daggone good this year. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that team that plays in Doak South.
Orange and green, huh?
Doak South, they play in Doak South.
I give credit to that team that plays in Doak South.
You give credit to the team,
Yes. They're looking good.
Yeah.
Their last two opponents, I'm not going to say are powerhouses, but, they did what they needed to do.
Yeah.
So.
And the Gators won too. So maybe did that save Napier's season? Maybe, I don't know if anybody knows.
It brought us more time.
Our
producer through the screen, through the window, is shaking her head. No. Yeah.
Napier is in that same position that Willie Taggart was in. When Willie Taggart, they were about to fire him, and then he went on that 3-game winning streak, and they had to wait until he lost.
Yeah.
That's where Napier is. So
I'm just glad we won after watching Florida win. I was like, man,
that would have been
Florida
tough.
State has to win.
Yeah.
We can't let them win and us not.
Yeah, we can't let the Couch Lizards win.
In what do we want to call it? Doak Southeast, maybe? Well, I don't know.
No, that's the swamp.
That's the swamp.
The swamp is
it's infested with things.
It has its own.
You have to bring like a gallon of hand sanitizer and like bathe in it if you walk into the stadium.
Apologies to any Gator fans that are listening to this right now.
I do not apologize.
Yes, and we are. We talked about. We're going to kind of talk about FSU soccer in just a little bit, and we will be getting to that. That's the sound that we know it's time to move on. But before we move on to FSU soccer, just kind of a reminder, for most podcasts, now would be a time when we'd hear messages from our sponsors. But wait, we ain't got no sponsors, at least not yet. So let me insert a shameless plug here. If you'd like to be a sponsor of this podcast, just email us at tallybench@fsu.org. That's tallybench@fsu.org. Okay, now we're on to what we hope will be some talk about really the best football team in town, right? The FSU Soccer's program.
Absolutely.
And we want to hear again from Coach Penske.
The great question, is it harder to get good or is it harder to stay good? And our challenge moving forward, right, the greatest challenge of my life, professional life, is to continue to stay good.
Stay good. Hey, that can be our motto too, guys. So we got to stay good with our podcast.
We got to get good.
We got to get good first.
Well,
And then
at
we can stay
Benchwarmers, we got to stay good.
Yeah,
We got to
okay.
stay because of the Benchwarmers. We got to stay good so that when he calls us to go in,
We're ready.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. I have faith in you three. I don't know about me, but we'll do our best.
well, you're the one who calls us in.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well. Yeah.
He's the coach.
Yeah. I'm the head bench warmer. I'm the head bench warmer.
You're
Yeah.
the coach of the bench warmers.
Okay. Let's get serious here. The women's soccer team, again, phenomenal, right? I mean, national champs last year, and even without a lot of players. I mean, a lot of players they've got that are playing in some international competition.
Yeah.
They
and
have
they're
6
still
players.
6-0-2 right now. And if they had beat SMU over the weekend, they'd be 7-0-1. They tied SMU over the weekend, but
but that keeps them from having a conference loss.
True.
That's true.
SMU is in our conference now. So.
Yeah.
But just kind of I've got I think a list of some of the players that are in this. What it is the
Under 20
World
International.
O2. Yeah, Gianna Riley. We got some players on Team USA. Gianna Riley, Jordan Dudley, Heather Gilchrist, Taylor Suarez, and then we've got a girl playing for Team Brazil, Laura Dantes. And there may be one more if I turn the page. No, I think that. So that did I name the 6 there, Eric? You said 6. I think I just had 5. So
I think there was 6.
Okay, but we've Taylor Huff is really taking a leadership role right now. But we've got these women. I should not say girls. We got these women coming back soon. So imagine, if they've been that good imagine one of our two football teams, American football teams, missing 6 of their stars.
That's what happened at our bowl game last year.
That's what happened, yes. That's what happened in the Orange Bowl last year. You're right. Yeah. We're trying to forget that, actually, instead of remembering it, but you're right. But women's soccer here is just off the charts.
Our sophomore goalie, oh my goodness. She is amazing.
Yes.
And she's just a sophomore. We've got this year and 2 more seasons with her if she can stay healthy and sticks around for us. But she's incredible. She really is incredible.
The model of consistency,
Yeah.
That's right. And even now with a change of coaches, a longtime coach who left, and then, so that women's soccer team, that's just a program that is built to win, right?
We had a coach who took him to a national championship.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
He left.
Yeah.
The next coach comes back in. He takes them to the national championship game again.
Uh-huh.
They lost on penalty kicks, but we'll digress from that.
Yeah, but it's still, they haven't lost a game since 2022.
Yes.
2022.
Yep.
Yeah, like
That was that national championship game.
Oh
yeah,
my
man, you cannot.
gosh.
That's incredible to think of.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. That's incredible.
So them young ladies are doing their thing.
And
And the reason I say young ladies is because I have a little bit of age on me. So
I think they tied SMU over the weekend, but I think it was a late goal to tie it up. So I mean, it was just something when you've got that I don't know what it is in you, that the inner strength in you that you're not going to lose. It's may not be going to win every time, but just that not going. You hear that from coaches all the time. Yeah. They hate to, and players, you hate to lose more than you love to win, right?
Yeah. You don't want to get beat. And that's the thing if a team just plays better than you and they do what they need to do and you both playing at a high level, that's understandable. There's going to be a winner, there's going to be a loser. You just don't want to get beat by beating yourself.
Yeah. And women's sports here at FSU, they're good in a lot of places. FSU volleyball, just over the weekend, they beat Alabama. Blanked them. Yeah, and I was looking at some of the statistics. It looked like the first 2 games were really kind of competitive.
Yeah.
Oh, but it was a beat down in that third game.
Game 3. They came together. They came together. And I think what may have helped them is that, we hate to talk about this, but that recent loss to Florida, that hurts. But yeah, that can kind of motivate you. That hating to lose so much. That tough loss to UF, that motivated them because they were in that game. They should have won.
Yeah.
They should have won.
Yeah.
But there was a couple of unforced errors, some bad service at inopportune times. And a couple of times they had it seemed like a lack of urgency to get to the ball.
Yeah.
So they need to, they came back out against Alabama and it seemed like they corrected all those mistakes.
Yeah, and I think that they are 5-0 at home, I think. And then they think they travel. They may travel. I'm not sure I forget if Miami's here or down there. I think they're down there.
No, Miami's here.
Miami's here?
In Tully.
Yeah.
So,
maybe pack the arena, the gym, I guess in this case, for it's not just soccer, football. It's all sports. FAMU volleyball off to a pretty doggone good start too, right?
Yeah, did a thing down in Lafayette. Yeah. So they beat off. They knocked off Jacksonville State.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think FAMU, as far as volleyball goes, I mean they're holding their own in the SWAC. That's their conference, and
they had a couple of ladies who were SWAC conference week players of the week. Just a couple weeks ago, right?
Awards and everything.
Yeah.
So SWAC champs and everything. So volleyball has definitely been one of the ones that we don't really talk about when we think of Tallahassee sports, and especially FAMU as far as sports. We usually hear about football, whatever, track and field or something, but volleyball has definitely taken a step up, and they're there. They're here to stay.
Well, like you said, here in Tallahassee, the big thing is going to be football.
Yeah.
Then after that, it will come basketball, and then everything else falls in after that. But one thing, like you said, we have track, and our track teams are really good. But I think that right now our women are carrying the city.
Yeah, they have in the past. Yeah. They certainly have in the past, and you know what's kind of tough is that some of the volleyball season and soccer seasons overlap with football, and so they get lost in the mix, right?
Yeah.
So that needs to be part of our role is to make sure that people are aware. As the lady on this bench, we're going to do our best to make you proud.
Well, thank you,
Jennifer. Yeah,
thank you. Lady Knowles.
Yeah, and FAMU women's volleyball is 4-0. FSU's 5-0. I guess the real question is which volleyball team is going to lose first at home?
Who's going to blink?
Who's going to blink? Right. So.
That's a tough one. I mean, it's a tough one. Yeah, you hate to even have this conversation, like, who's going to lose first,
It's kind of a dark way to do it.
Yeah, hear the whistle. I think it's time to move on. It's time for the weekly picks. What sports podcast can there be without picking games of the week? Yeah, okay. Pressure is going to be on. Yeah. We're gonna keep a record of this, and maybe there'll be a big prize at the end of the season for those of us. FSU first, visiting SMU. Wow, this will be SMU's first ACC game, I believe, also. And I'm not sure. Is this the first time that FSU has ever played SMU? Eric, are you aware?
I think it is the first time, and definitely the first time traveling out there to play.
Yeah.
As a conference game.
Yeah, and as a conference game. Yeah. So, Adrian, going to go to you first. Who wins?
Well, they're in Texas. I don't really like that for Florida State. And SMU, look, it's dominant.
66 points this past weekend against TCU.
Yeah, TCU. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I don't know. TCU turned the ball over 5 times, I think.
Right. So, right.
Yeah. That's defense.
I think maybe.
Yeah, that's defense. Yeah.
I got to go with SMU. I think they just look a little bit more like a complete team. And defensively, I think they're there. I mean, but I think SMU takes this one.
Okay. Yeah. What do you think, Eric?
It hurts me to say this.
Oh, man. Are you actually? No, this is. I have heard you say, my heart is somewhere. I believe that we can, but it's going to take whatever. But this sounds like it's going to be a definitive statement.
It hurts me to say this. I got to go with SMU.
SMU. Wow.
That running attack that they have.
Yeah.
Their defense is flying all over the place. It's going to take a Herculean effort for our defense to keep it close. But in the end, I believe SMU is going to get us.
Okay. Wow. That's I've known Eric for almost 9 years. I'm not sure if I've ever heard him pick against FSU. Wow.
It's kind of groundbreaking.
Yeah, it is groundbreaking.
Groundbreaking stuff going on in the studio today.
I'm going to have to, I think we have to do some heart palpitations right now, in fact. So, yeah. Jennifer?
I'm going to pick FSU. I'm not ready to pick against them. Our defense stepped up. Our O-line stepped up. I'm hoping that they can continue to build. I'm hoping that we can learn and continue to grow. So I'm going with FSU hesitantly.
Maybe Travis can go with them to Texas.
Yeah, maybe if he can just travel with the team.
Or the Jets playing the Cowboys. Maybe that could be something. I'm going to go with Jennifer hesitantly picking FSU. I saw something this past week that gave a little bit of hope. It comes down. You got to tackle the guy. You got to catch the ball. You got to run the ball. We know we can kick the ball, but you got to throw the ball.
Yeah.
Well, and you got to tackle. Yeah. And you got to tackle again. So, but I think that the SMU 66 points was a little bit of a fluke, a big fluke against TCU. Eric, you mentioned its defense. It could be that TCU just but it had a really off game too. So we're 50-50
Yeah.
split.
Hey, our guys won, and winning feels good. And
Winning
hopefully
feels
they'll
good.
be-
You got to remember how that
hopefully they'll be
feels.
chasing that high.
That's one in a row.
Okay, one in a row. That's
Yes,
right. One
you
in
got
a
to
row.
start somewhere.
I mean, we're not speaking of. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not exactly
You gotta start
Alabama.
somewhere.
Yeah,
You gotta
yeah,
start
yeah.
somewhere.
It'd be Cal. Cal had people. They had.
Hey, they were 3-0. Okay, they were 3-0.
They beat San Diego State.
Come on.
Yeah.
They beat Auburn.
They
They
should
beat
have beat
Auburn.
Auburn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Boston College and Georgia Tech have had phenomenal seasons after beating us either, but so we'll see. Hey, okay, moving on. FAMU is visiting Alabama A&M.
Yeah.
Adrian.
Yeah, back in Alabama.
Yeah, and it's a conference game.
Right. I'm going FAMU. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going FAMU. And actually, yeah, they're in Bragg this week's. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
is this a home game?
Yeah,
I
home
was thinking,
game,
I was
first
thinking
home
it was,
game.
Okay.
Well, second home game. So yeah, I'm going with FAMU with that one. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going FAMU. I think they
Yeah.
kicked the rust off,
Yeah.
stopped being lethargic, and actually put up some good points.
That's good. Yeah. That's let's hope that there's no weather impact for this weekend's game. Too.
That's true.
We're recording this podcast not knowing exactly what the forecast of this.
Potential.
I mean, right now it's just a low pressure system, but they're projecting it to be a pretty bad storm. So let's hope. Yeah.
Cat 3 at this point.
Okay, let's not even go there.
This is
Your resident weather girl.
Yeah. I'm the weather guru and the sports one. Never mind. Okay. Yes.
I picked FAMU for this one. I think after they played Miami, that no matter what the final score was, they learned a lot.
Yeah.
I think after the Troy game, they know what they need to work on. And Bragg,
home cooking.
yeah,
No lose at Bragg.
yeah. I picked FAMU for this one.
I'm with everybody. FAMU is they got a good team this year, and I'm expecting good things out of them. What do I know? But yeah, I'm expecting good things out of that team. Now we've got some other Florida teams that we want to talk about. The Gators, they've got a bye week before that big in-state rivalry game against UCF, so we don't have to worry about the Gators will not lose this week. We can
Billy
say
Napier
that.
has one more week.
Well, unless who knows? They always talked about that this may be the week that they fire Napier. But
You
we'll
get
see.
fired on your day off.
Yeah, that
You ain't seen Fridays?
Yeah.
But
Gosh, Craig.
we'll wait to see what happens there. Miami is going to host Virginia Tech. Adrian, where you pick there?
Let's go with Miami.
Yeah.
Same.
Let's go with
Yeah,
Miami.
no,
Easy.
I think this is an easy. I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. Jennifer, your pick.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Miami.
Yeah, unfortunately, Miami, and it's around the table. Miami,
And they are
looking
playing
good.
in Doak South.
And they're playing in Doak South. We'll
Which
always
means
remember
our
that.
fans will come out and no, we won't support them, but
Yeah,
they'll still
that's
win.
true. Yeah. Okay, UCF just coming off a bye week, and they're hosting Colorado. Colorado won on that Hail Mary
Goodness,
pass
that's
this
a
past
tough
weekend.
one.
Yeah, that's a tough pick.
I think Colorado. I like Travis Hunter. I think that's the only reason why I'm probably rooting for that and Dion.
You hear people talk all the time. Travis Hunter's the best player in the country.
Yeah, I think he's going to win the Heisman this year,
Yeah.
and definitely his first round pick, draft pick. So, I think it's Colorado.
I'm picking Colorado.
You're picking
also.
Colorado. Yeah. Jennifer,
I'm going with UCF.
Are you really?
Yeah, Colorado's explosive. They're explosive.
They are.
But they also come with a lot of distractions. And I just, I'm going to go with UCF.
Most of those distractions for Colorado is when they're at home.
Yeah, well,
yeah, it's true.
their coach, too. It's a bit of a distraction.
Prime can be a distraction, but they'll
He's a businessman.
he's a businessman, and a couple more wins even early in the season, and they really could be bowl eligible early enough in the season for people to say, hey, okay, Go Prime. I'm gonna pick Colorado too, but UCF has got a strong team.
Yeah,
UCF is building a really good football program, and the other three states, the other three primary schools here in the state, got to start paying attention to UCF.
The bounce house.
Yeah. Now, and I didn't mean to diss South Florida at all with that, but South Florida is at Tulane, but South Florida just doesn't have has not had the program that UCF is building. But South Florida at Tulane, Adrian.
Yeah, South Florida has shown they struggled a little bit. I think boy, that's tough again. Yeah, Tulane. Let's go with Tulane.
Going to Tulane.
Yeah,
they're playing in Tulane.
They are at Tulane.
I have to take Tulane.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Tulane only because they're playing at home. I think South Florida has played some really tough opponents so far this year, and hopefully those lessons will translate and they'll continue to grow. But I don't think that they can beat Tulane at home. Yeah,
and I'm picking Tulane also. I think Tulane at home is too tough.
That's a clean score.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, that is. And that's the last of our picks, and we're about ready to wrap up here on this first edition of our podcast. But one last thing before we go. I'm going to give the first bench warmer $5 who can name the team that the new FSU lacrosse coach, Sarah Tisdale, came from. 15 seconds, whoever can pick it. Da, 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 da. That's her. I've got new closing music too, right? Da, 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 da.
No.
Was she not a Florida State alum?
I don't know that much about her, but she's not. She did not coach at Florida.
Okay.
So the last team, the most recent team that she came from, the most recent team that she coached, the most recent team.
I'm going to pick UWF.
UWF.
Random.
That's wrong.
No.
Where is that UWF?
Eric is just shaking his head. No. Adrian, any idea? Okay. I'd say $5 too. That's great. Yeah. I'll have to
By
donate.
switching to Geico.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Eastern Michigan is where Coach Tisdale most recently coached.
Guys. I was close.
And hopefully she's going to build a very great lacrosse team here at FSU. That will be a fun sport to watch.
Absolutely.
Can't wait for it.
Another women's team to help us out.
That's right. Okay, yeah. Another one. That's a great way to go out on it. That's our cue to just say it's time to go, folks. That's it. Hey, if you want to get in on this, if you want to be on the bench, if you want to sponsor the show, contact us at tallybench@wfsu.org.
Come on, put me in, Coach.
Yeah, put me in, Coach. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you guys later today.
All right.